What if I told you that the traditional nursing home isn't the only path for our aging loved ones? What if there were better ways, more joyful, more affordable, and more respectful that nobody talks about? You're about to uncover 8 powerful solutions that might just change the way you see aging forever. Stick with me until the end, because what you learn here could transform not just your life, but the life of someone you love deeply. Let me introduce myself as a doctor who spent the last 2 decades walking through hospital corridors, making house calls, holding trembling hands, and watching life unfold in its rawest form. I've seen loneliness in brightly lit nursing homes and joy in modest homes filled with love. I've seen patients decline in expensive institutions, and I've seen others thrive in homes you wouldn't expect. And I want to tell you something radical. We can do better. We must do better. And there are real, practical alternatives that are working, quietly, beautifully, right under our noses. Let's start with the idea of connection. Human beings are wired to connect. That doesn't change as we grow older. In fact, the need for connection deepens. Nursing homes, while providing physical care, often strip away emotional intimacy. But what if aging could look more like living than waiting? What if care could be gentle, empowering, and full of dignity? What if, instead of institutions, we created homes? I remember meeting Mrs. Mira, a retired school teacher of 78, who absolutely refused to go to a nursing home. Her children, well-meaning and worried, tried everything to convince her. But she had a vision. She moved into a co-housing community, a concept that's growing across the world. In this model, a few elders live together under one roof. Each person has a private bedroom and bathroom, but they share living spaces and meals. The result? A beautiful balance between independence and companionship. Mrs. Mira woke every day to the aroma of chai, the sound of a friend calling her name, and the knowledge that she mattered. Co-housing works because it restores something we've lost: belonging. Seniors garden together, cook together, laugh over silly jokes, and watch over one another. The expenses are lower than assisted living facilities, and yet the emotional returns are far greater. This isn't wishful thinking. It's happening in pockets across the world, and it's working. Then there's something even more rooted in our heritage: multi-generational living. This isn't new. It's ancient. It's how our ancestors lived. Grandparents, parents, children, all under one roof. In today's world, where nuclear families have become the norm, we're rediscovering this as a powerful model. And it's not just about cost sharing. It's about emotional continuity. It's about having someone to share memories with. It's about bedtime stories, warm hugs, and shared meals. Elders in these setups often live longer, experience fewer mental health issues, and report higher satisfaction with life. But not every elder has family nearby, and that's where the home-sharing model shines. Imagine this: an elderly person with a spare bedroom welcomes a younger tenant, often a college student or young professional. The rent is minimal, and in exchange, the tenant offers companionship and a little help around the house. It's a win-win. I introduced this idea to Mr. Joshi, a retired postmaster, who lived alone after his wife passed. Within 2 months of having a 24-year-old student live with him, he was learning to video call, baking banana bread, and even watching stand-up comedy. His blood pressure improved. His laughter returned. All because someone was there. Let's talk about safety, which is a major concern when we think about aging outside of institutions. Technology has come a long way. Today we have smart homes equipped with fall detection systems, voice-activated reminders for medication, emergency buttons, and even cameras that allow children to check in on their parents from miles away. Imagine giving your loved one the gift of staying in their familiar home, with all the dignity of independence, and still ensuring they're safe. That's not just smart, that's compassionate. Then there's adult foster care, a quiet but profound alternative. Instead of institutionalizing elders, this model places them in the homes of trained caregivers who provide round-the-clock attention in a personal, homely setting. Typically, there are only 2 to 4 elders in a home, creating an intimate environment. Meals are homemade, birthdays are celebrated, and traditions are respected. I once visited a foster care home in Pune, where the walls were covered with handmade crafts, photos, and the smell of masala chai lingered in the air. The elders there didn't feel like they were being cared for. They felt like they belonged. There are also caregiving co-ops. These are grassroots initiatives where communities come together to look after their elders. Think of it as old-fashioned neighborly care, supported by technology. Families rotate responsibilities, helping with groceries, providing rides to medical appointments, cooking meals, or simply spending time together. It reduces the burden on any one person and builds a web of support. We piloted this model in a neighborhood in Bengaluru, and within months, 17 families had signed up. The elders had weekly potlucks, music evenings, and, most importantly, friendships. Let's not forget the village movement. Originating in Boston, this model involves seniors in a locality pooling resources to hire a coordinator who manages services like transportation, home repair, tech support, and social events. It's peer-run, peer-governed, and deeply empowering. Villages help seniors age in place with the comfort of familiar surroundings while having access to support tailored exactly to their needs. And then there's the hybrid approach, the model I most often recommend as a physician. It means designing a care system around the unique needs of the individual. Some might combine smart tech at home, weekly physiotherapy visits, a home share arrangement for companionship, and a community volunteer to check in regularly. The goal? Dignity, comfort, connection. All these alternatives share a single belief, that elders are not just people we care for. They are people we care about. They are not burdens. They are bridges to our past and guides to our future. And they deserve options that celebrate rather than sideline them. So I urge you, before you consider the default option of a nursing home, pause. Reflect. What does your loved one need? Not just physically, but emotionally? What makes their eyes light up? What gives them meaning? That is where true care begins. If you've made it this far, you're already part of a growing movement. A movement that sees aging not as a decline, but as a sacred season. If this message touched you, share it. Let's build communities, not institutions. Let's create choices, not compromises. Let's age together with love, laughter, and lasting dignity. Because when we care differently, we care better.